Oh man. Hey,
Hey guys.
of course I'm
Whoa.
clicked on the wrong thing.
Hey, whoa.
Shocker that.
Every week,
Welcome
man.
to OLED.
Oh Jesus. What's going
You
on?
know what it is.
boys?
I've accidentally disabled streamer mode in Discord, so now it will definitely make some noises that I don't want it to.
Of course. Every time somebody sends you a message, all that good stuff. Yeah. Good
I
old
don't know how
streamer
to
mode.
manually enable. Oh, here it is. Oh, we're good.
We found
We're
it.
safe.
Hey,
We did it.
You know what I hate
did
about
it.
streamer mode on Discord?
What?
Everything?
Is if someone's username is the same as their like display name,
Yeah.
it'll just turn their name to like the first letter and then ... and it only does it if your username and display name are the same. So it's like stupid.
Is that what it does for me?
It does. It does for you and Justin. I honestly thought you changed your name the first time I saw that. I was like, I don't know what happened, but he's F dot now.
So
I thought my
Cody's
Discord
will
was bugged. Yeah.
So Cody's will show Larian, but you're just F and I'm V.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Because I think I changed my actual username to.
Don't dox yourself. Don't dox yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. It was something. There was one of two different things.
Something nerdy.
Yeah.
But anyways,
nice.
We're back another week. We're not gonna play some video games this week, only because depends on what we want to talk about first. But the largest tech merger in history apparently is gonna go through.
Holy shit! It's happening.
Yeah, it is.
Well, so they still all they did is they delayed the preliminary injunction. There's still going to be a legal case about it.
Yeah, but the thing will
the merger
close.
will happen.
Yeah, it'll still close. Background, Microsoft and FTC. We covered this very briefly last week. They had a 5-day court case, going back and forth, making their cases as to why this was harmful to the market and why this wasn't harmful to the market. Judge Corley came out and basically said, she told the FTC, you are not here for the consumers. You were obviously here for Sony. Is really what it boiled down to, because she ended up not berating them, but chastising them during the proceedings about how much they were mentioning Sony compared to how many times they mentioned the consumers. And I think that number was 80 to 12 or something. It was a very drastic difference, right?
Yeah, so, that's pretty telling.
Yeah, so it really seemed like they were trying to protect the market leader, right? Which all the stuff that we saw come out of this court case, it's very clear that Sony is a market leader in the video game space, especially the console space. So that's just kind of how that panned out. But so that's how that happened. Actually, earlier this evening, the FTC is trying to appeal the decision. But from what I read, the appeal is going to the same court that has already denied 2 other emergency injunctions and stuff, denied the FTC 2 other things already. So the chances of this passing after the 5-day court case is very slim. So honestly, the deal could close as early as next week. That's even with the UK outstanding. It sounds like they're still going to try and close around the CMA. And now the CMA also backed off immediately. So you saw, this is crazy. You saw the decision come down from the FTC on Tuesday. Within an hour, the court case that was supposed to be held in the UK, I think it was July 28th, was immediately the CMA and Microsoft both sent something to the CAT tribunal or whatever, basically saying, hey, we're going to figure out something on our own. We don't have to have this court case anymore. And so they went back basically to the negotiation table at that point.
Wow.
So it looks like the CMA, they're going to be able to close in the UK. Apparently there's been an agreement to a divestiture. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I'm probably not, knowing my track record. But basically, there's going to be a split up. it's going to have to do with cloud, right? And how the cloud is set up, because that was what the CMA was blocking the deal for to begin with. So expect the UK gamers to have shitty cloud service, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know how much that affects the overall player base when only 5% of people were really using it anyways. That came out in the court proceedings. So
if the whole point is to get, so if they're renegotiating the deal to appease the CMA based on the blockage of cloud, I don't think they're going to have shitty cloud service. They're going to wind up with probably better cloud service.
Well, I think they'll have no cloud service. I think that's what's going to end up happening. Because just to put it in perspective, right? Xbox said during the proceedings that the only time cloud is basically being used is when people are testing out a game or they're playing it while they're waiting for the full version to download to their console. That's it. So why even offer it at that point in the UK? You know what I mean? Like, just cut it out. Be like, okay, we just won't run our cloud service in the UK. Like, if 5% of your base is using it, and that's how they're using it, like, just be like, okay, we just won't do it here and call it a day, you know? Because you can still run Game Pass, right? Like, there's no Game Pass issue. You just can't run the cloud version of it. Whatever. I don't know. That's my personal feeling on it. I would just cut it out and call it a day and move on. So, but so it's just really interesting. So it's a $69 billion merger going through. Like, that's crazy.
Damn.
I think I agree with a lot of people that this is good for Microsoft, but maybe not good for the industry in general, because it looks really similar to like what happened in like the movie industry and stuff like that with like Netflix and whatnot, and then like consolidating studios and stuff like that. But we'll see. Like it's they're different mediums kind of thing. So, you know, you can have a shitty TV show and it's not the end of the world. If you have a shitty video game, it can close an entire studio, as we saw with Gollum, right? Like they had a whole nother Lord of the Rings game in development, and they were like, nah, fuck this, we're done, we're cutting it all, shut it all down.
Too?
What's that?
Deponia? Have you ever heard of Deponia?
That was like their big game, right?
Yeah, it was like 10 years ago. It was an RPG series that was relatively popular on PC. Like it was a relatively big Steam franchise for a while. They're the ones who made Deponia. They haven't done a whole ton else, but that was their dev team, and now
RIP.
Yeah. So, I don't know, any other thoughts? I know, Justin, you haven't really cared about this entire process. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't want to play World of Warcraft on my consoles. Overwatch fucking sucks. Lucio Ball, I was so excited for Lucio Ball to come back, and I logged in, and not only do they not have competitive Lucio Ball this season, they only have quick play Lucio Ball, but the game's fucking broken. You can't even hit the fucking ball, dude. It's so fucked. There's this bug where you're supposed to boop the ball with your Lucio boop ability.
Yeah.
And the ball just doesn't move. I've got clips of like watching Coco and another guy face off on the ball. Boop, 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 boop. The ball doesn't move for like 5 boops until someone else comes in and punches the thing.
Wow.
So,
well, I mean,
yeah, Microsoft, if you can like fix that, dope.
So I think. Go ahead, Tim. Sorry.
I think it'll be interesting to see any future Spyro, Crash, Diablo, Tony Hawk. Like, there are some smaller titles. Like, you're not going to see Call of Duty day one. You're not going to see Diablo day one. When the merger goes through, those will be on Game Pass, but how long it takes, that's going to depend. But you probably will see stuff like Spyro games will go straight to Game Pass, like the remaster collection that's out there. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster, probably going to wind up on Game Pass, which is awesome because I haven't bought that yet. There are certain IPs, like they've committed to leaving Diablo and Call of Duty and a lot of these IPs multi-platform, but what about the next Prototype? Singularity, right? Like games that aren't currently in development, that haven't been announced, that haven't been on the PS4 or PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series, like at all. Maybe you could bring back some of these older franchises. We'll see.
Yeah.
Does this mean they technically own like Guitar Hero and DJ Hero and all that shit too?
Yeah, they'll own all that stuff too. So I will say, Call of Duty. It was talked about in the court case. Call of Duty will start coming day one to Game Pass in 2025 because that's the current contract that's in place with Activision and everybody else or whatever. That's when that ends. So it won't be this year.
That's how long they agreed to not put it on Game Pass with Sony, is what you're saying.
Well, kind of. I don't know all the details.
Like.
Yeah, I don't remember all the details. But what you will see once this goes through, is you'll probably see every old Call of Duty title that has a PC port is probably going to end up on Game Pass. A lot like what we saw with Bethesda, and all the old Fallouts and stuff that immediately came to Game Pass and stuff like that as soon as the deal was through and it was like everything was official. So yeah, but Call of Duty will eventually be day and date. Diablo, I think Diablo was always going to be multi-plat. I don't think you can make a live service game exclusive. You know what I mean? It really hurts the monetary values of those type of titles.
Mhm.
So I think Diablo was always going to be. But what I'm excited for is when Diablo does come to Game Pass, and then I can play on my computer or my Xbox, regardless. I can just cross-play it, and I'll be very happy about that. That's the whole reason. That's the whole thing that's been making me hold off on buying Diablo a second time, because I like playing it on my Xbox. It's nice. But yeah, and then like Tim said, you have Crash Bandicoot, you got Spyro. Like there's some older titles or IPs and stuff like that could hopefully make a comeback.
New StarCraft?
I'd rather see Warcraft before I saw StarCraft. We've had a StarCraft.
There was what was the sniper from StarCraft? There was a whole game that was built around.
They're gonna do that. Yeah, I remember. I had me and Holland bought like a Xbox magazine with that character on the cover because we were like, "Oh, this game's gonna be so cool."
Yeah, and it never came out. There's a whole documentary about it that's like really interesting. It's a really interesting watch. If you haven't seen it, I recommend checking it out. I can't remember what it is. I'm sure it's on YouTube. I can't even remember her name right now, which is funny because she's basically what Black Widow, what's her name from
Widowmaker.
She's just
Widowmaker.
There's
a skin. Yeah. Is it Nova?
I think so.
Yeah, Nova.
I think that's right. Anyway, it would be freaking phenomenal to actually finally get that type of game remade, because like there's so many possibilities with those IPs that are currently just being sat on.
Yeah,
who knows what the future holds. And now it's kind of like with the next Elder Scrolls, the next Fallout. Well, we already know those. We basically know those are going to be Xbox exclusive. The next Doom probably going to be Xbox exclusive.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting to see.
So yeah. So I mean, overall, I understand Justin's disinterest. If it's not Sea of Thieves, he doesn't really care. That's okay. I don't know. I just thought the whole thing was interesting in general, like just from like a gaming standpoint, because they did start talking about like things that we didn't know about yet, like how Indiana Jones was originally supposed to be for all consoles, and then Xbox bought Bethesda, or ZeniMax really. They bought the whole thing. And Xbox went, "No, we're not doing that," and they renegotiated the whole thing.
Starfield was going to be a PlayStation exclusive.
Well, no, that came out in 2020. The PlayStation was trying to make it exclusive.
That was a rumor, but what came out during the trial was Phil said that he heard that, and that was kind of the impetus for the whole Bethesda purchase.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Phil heard, wait, the next Bethesda RPG is going to be fucking PlayStation exclusive? Nope. We're not doing that.
And the fact that was like the main domino that like started that whole process and things like that, like just behind the curtain things that we don't really get to see a whole lot. It was kind of fun to follow for a lot of it. But we'll see how this really ends up, right? Because I mean, it's fair to probably be critical of Microsoft. They've mismanaged studios in the past, right? We have multiple games. Yeah, we had multiple games that are at MIA, right? Like State of Decay or Perfect Dark. You know what I mean? State of Decay 3, Perfect Dark. Like Perfect Dark was announced in like 2016. Like that's forever ago. You know what I mean? And then I know State of Decay was announced I think in 2020. Like the same time Avowed. was announced and stuff, and we haven't seen anything on that since then. And there's like rumors that those like both those games are in development hell. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like you've seen what happened with Halo. As much as as good a time when you have on Halo kind of thing, it's basically non-existent on Steam. There's apparently some numbers out there that it's still pretty healthy in the Xbox ecosystem, but outside of that, it's basically dead kind of thing. So I mean, it's not all rainbows and sunshine. This could end up being crashing and burning. Tim and I talked about it a little bit. That it does seem to be more about getting in the mobile space than anything, because now they own Candy Crush. So
there's your moneymaker right there. The whole deal's worth it for Candy Crush alone.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
So it's like I said, I just found it interesting to follow and stuff like that. And also there's been a little bit of Jez Corden's kind of like highlighted this a little bit. And I don't remember specifically what he had highlighted, but basically the gist of it was like a lot came out about Sony and Sony's like practices during these trials and stuff like that could come back to bite Sony because they're like anti-competitive and things like that potentially, right? We'll see, but like that's just something that he's highlighted. He had highlighted like a portion of Judge Corley's like decision to kind of like point to that. But I can't remember exactly what it said. I'd have to go back and look at his tweets. But yeah, so I don't know. It was just interesting. But we could move off of that. Can't wait for Game Pass to be an even. Oh, speaking of Game Pass, real quick, and Justin, this is mostly for you. They brought back the $1 for PC only. The $1 month. Yes. So
man,
when Sea of Stars comes out, $1, my man.
Yeah.
Or
big time.
Yeah, or Starfield.
Yeah.
Like you can play Starfield on PC for $1. So yeah, just
beautiful.
throwing that out there.
Yeah, you do it at the beginning of September. You do Starfield, you do Sea of Stars, you do Armored Core, and then you're like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
if you got time to
a lot of value, man. Yeah.
I think I'm totally skipping Armored Core because I think the next game I'm gonna buy is probably Remnant 2.
See, it's the opposite for me.
For Starfield.
I never beat Remnant. I never got that far into it. I played like maybe a couple hours.
Yeah.
And yeah, I liked it, but there were so many other things going on when it came out. And I own the like complete edition or definitive or whatever it is now through I think Epic.
Yeah.
I think Epic gave the whole thing away.
It might have, yeah.
Or no, I think I own it through Epic and because of Humble on Steam because I think Humble
too.
My Humble subscription. But fucking I want that to be good, but I'm like, I mechs. Well, let's do mechs. Okay, let's go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then Justin, we still need to. I don't know if Tim will want to join us, but we have Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a wild shaped druid?
Do you want me to fuck you as a bear? Is that what you're asking me? That trailer was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my
Tim,
God.
have you
We're
seen
never
that?
monetized in the first place because this escalated quickly. Yes, I saw that. Yeah,
dude, that was the
really
funniest
the crowd
fucking
going
clip.
wild to it.
The
So
squirrel.
good.
The squirrel.
Just
Dropping
like,
the nut.
You
Oh,
hear that dude in the audience too go, yeah. And I'm like, all right, man, calm the fuck down. Somebody's getting hurt tonight. I don't know. It ain't me. Jeez.
Did you hear that the max level in that game is gonna be level 12? I was reading an article about how it's gonna be
seems
hard.
low.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to multi-class in the game because, to really multi-class. I saw they were talking about being like you can probably take a couple levels of fighter to get a certain feat kind of thing. But other than that, it's just gonna be really hard to multi-class because it's a very, very low level cap kind of thing.
I wonder if it's gonna stay that way.
I mean,
that seems too low. I don't know. I haven't played it, so
I only played it a little bit when I bought it in early access back in 2020 because I was like, I don't want to ruin this experience
so bad. I
Yeah.
wanted to when it was early access so bad, but I just never did. And I've been waiting, and here it is 1.0, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's coming out in August.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that game with everything else coming out.
You know, and they even moved it up, right? They moved it up from the end of August
Yeah.
to the beginning of August because they're like, we're not fucking with Starfield.
I'm
It's
trying
like
to
Yeah.
clear
Starfield,
so much
Armored Core.
backlog right now. I'm trying to clear so much of my backlog so I can get through Armored Core fast. Get to well, at least start it and do my normal From Software thing where it'll take me 200 hours to beat the game, but get to a good point.
Right.
Fucking get into Starfield, and I'm not going to beat that right away. I know I'm not going to beat that. And then the Cyberpunk
You're never
DLC comes
gonna
out in
beat it.
September too.
You're never gonna
I
beat
beat
Starfield. You beat Fallout 4 like 7 years after it released for the first time.
I was so close to. I was literally on the last mission for
Do you do that with all your games, Tim?
All his Bethesda games.
So that was Elder Scrolls as well, wasn't it?
I will go through.
Yeah.
Oh, Skyrim I beat forever ago. Skyrim I beat like right away, and then
Or sorry, Elden Ring.
Elden Ring I did that with. Yeah. Well, sort of. Elden Ring I beat it like what? 9 months after it came out. I beat it last winter.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I just mean, were you like, you were on the boss, like you were at the end, but you were just like waiting?
Oh yeah, I do that a lot. I'll like get right to the end, and then I'll just keep playing the game because I want to find all the secrets and I want to go around. Yeah, I'm very used to. I was showing you guys earlier, Xbox 360's on back there, and I've been playing a lot of Xbox 360 games this last week, mostly because honestly, it's hooked up so I can play Armored Core Verdict Day before 6 comes out, because it's probably going to be the closest. I feel like it's probably going to be faster than Verdict Day, kind of like 4 was, but closest to Verdict Day in terms of its mechanics, but it'll also have all new shit. So I don't know. My thought process was broken. So I've been playing a lot of Xbox 360 games, and New Game Plus, not that common a thing even 10 years ago.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm very much used to like, I don't want to beat the game because then I got to start. Even fucking Cyberpunk doesn't have New Game Plus.
Yikes.
Like if I load back into my game that I beat it on, I load back in right before the whole end sequence and I can play around, but like not every game did that either. So I don't know. I do that a lot though, yeah.
Do you guys like New Game Plus? I never really engage with New Game Plus. I do kind of the same thing as Tim, where I'll just fuck around on my save until, I decide to beat the game, which is usually never.
Yeah. Look who you're asking, Justin. How many games do I beat on a yearly basis? I will say
Don't even get there.
Yeah, the only game that I've started a New Game Plus on is the Ghost of Tsushima, because I wanted to get all the trophies. But other than that, which that's my favorite game of all time, very excited for that movie. Just saying, I'm hoping that movie's as bomb as the fucking game is. But yeah, no, I don't generally beat games, so I think New Game Plus is cool. I do feel like it should be a more common feature though, because I guess, and maybe not on release necessarily, right? But like 6 months after, I could see it being like a very common thing that people update their game with, or maybe like in your first DLC drop, just because it's just the game basically again on a slightly higher difficulty. You know what I mean? With maybe some different like cosmetics and stuff that you can earn for playing through it on New Game Plus and stuff like that. Like I just don't understand why it's not something that's more commonly used to try and extend the life of a game. You know what I mean? Especially games that aren't like roguelites. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like that's something that can just like suddenly throw your game into the news cycle again after everybody's kind of like played through it.
Yeah.
Like, a free update, New Game Plus. Try it again.
For me with New Game Plus, I like New Game Plus. Like there have been a few games that I've, New Game Plus. It's always fun to start at, your high level that you beat the game at with your end game gear and just wreck low level enemies that were a nightmare for you at the beginning, like Elden Ring. Like I made the video of the tree sentinel from the very beginning On New Game Plus, yeah, I didn't fuck around with that guy. I straight up grabbed my Bolt of Grasnax and was just like, yeah, we're doing this right now, buddy. We're not fucking around today. But generally speaking, like for some games that have a definitive ending, it's great. Like if you write in that your character dies at the end, please give me a New Game Plus. There are some games though that don't need it. Like, for example, well, I shouldn't say don't need it. It'd be great to have it in Fallout because outside of the Radiant quests of another settlement needs your help, go here and kill these super mutants, go here and kill these ghouls, go here and grab this MacGuffin and bring it back to this one tech scribe who has the same line of dialogue every single time for the Brotherhood of Steel. Outside of those Radiant quests, there are a finite number of actual quests in Fallout 4. So after you finish those, yeah, it would be great to be able to start over with my power armor and everything like just there. But maybe I have to start my settlements over. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. Maybe I don't get to take everything that I have hoarded in my house. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. But like the armor I have on, and like maybe the first set of power armor I find at the Red Rocket right outside of what the fuck's it's called?
I don't know. I haven't played it.
Right. I haven't played it in years. So
the main Sanctuary, right outside of Sanctuary Hills, there's a Red Rocket gas station. I couldn't think of Sanctuary Hills for some fucking reason. Anyway, there's a suit of power armor in there. Maybe that's the one you were most recently wearing and you have to collect the rest of them that you had. I'd be fine with that because I have my preferred set of power armor that I have modded and has all my shit that I wear all the time. Like, that'd be dope. But only for the games that have a definitive endpoint is that necessary. And like, I guess there's also the argument of in a game that's as moddable as a Fallout or a Skyrim, you can always add in community content and keep your playthrough going. I don't know. But New Game Plus, I think, is a great option to have.
Yeah, some games make it a core mechanic of the game, like Nier.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Speaking of, okay. Funny enough, I was listening to the Chilluminati podcast, which I believe I've talked about it before.
Mm-hmm.
They mostly talk about weird, spooky, conspiracy type shit, right? And I just happened to turn it on because I was doing some menial work, and they're doing a minisode. In a minisode, they just bring like little like 5-10 minute talking points to fill out like 10-15 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that for Nier, somebody found a church that nobody else has been able to replicate going into, and so people are like, the guy who was talking about it was like, this could very well be a hoax, but also the dude who made this fucking game, I would not put it past him if he made one copy of this game that you could go into this fucking church just to fuck with everybody, because it looks like basically every idea underneath the sun was put into that game.
I think
very Yoko Taro.
Yeah.
Reference a Game Ranks episode of like
Yeah.
weird stories of gaming or whatever that they do.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for any gaming news. I was looking for weird.
That's so funny.
Weird alien shit, and they're talking about Nier. And I was like, these are my people. You know what I mean?
There's kind of weird alien shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That's a game right there.
It is a weird game. It's a game that, like, games like that makes me sad that I don't generally go and beat games. But it does make me help.
You gotta beat that one like 4 times to get the actual ending. So good luck.
Yeah, I know. Like it's same with like a lot of like JRPGs, like Dragon Quest. I've always wanted to like beat a Dragon Quest game, but I don't have 150 hours to fucking drop into one playthrough of a Dragon Quest game. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, JRPGs, that's like something that people feel like if it's the JRPG, it's got to be long. Right. So I feel like that has made developers feel like they have to do that kind of shit too.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Speaking of long and grindy, real quick, Diablo. Kind of.
Where this was going. We were talking about the whole bear thing earlier.
Oh man.
No, this isn't a Magic Mike episode. But anyways, fucking I've kind of fallen off because I don't like the end game. Not the end game. I don't like the end game builds for sorcerer kind of thing. So I'm really just waiting out for season 1, but season 1 has been confirmed. So there is you got the paid battle pass and you got the free battle pass. The only thing that you will get on the paid battle pass is cosmetics. So you can pay to skip the battle pass levels, but the way they balance that out is you still have to be an actual like certain level in game to still access some of this stuff. So you can't really like jump ahead of people necessarily, right? You might be able to get the first couple levels immediately, but like it'll be like you have to be level 25 before you can utilize this level of the battle pass and stuff like that. So because I know there was a 25 level battle pass skip thing that they have. So yeah, so
That seems so strange that it's all just cosmetics, but they're going to level gate people.
yeah, I didn't watch the dev stream specifically. I'm kind of going off of like what I've heard other people talk about. I listened to Asmongold talk about it because he's been really big into Diablo and whatnot. And I listened to a couple guys like Riker. I don't, these are all Diablo like content creators and stuff like that talk about it. So yeah, so I didn't listen to the dev, so I was a little bit confused about that as well. But I mean, I think because it's on the free level of the battle pass, there is experience boosts and stuff like that. So I think maybe they're balancing that out, kind of thing. Because if you buy the first 25 levels, you're gonna get all the paid content and the free content, right? So I mean, so you can't. It's probably so you can't just like stack like I don't know 3 or 4 experience boosts on top of each other and just fucking power level like crazy right out the gate. You know what I mean? Because each season's supposed to be 3 months, so they're probably trying to make sure people actually play for 3 months in some way, shape, or form. So yeah.
What's your new character gonna be?
Necro. I've seen some good builds for Necros now. I've seen a good Thorns build. And like Thorns, like you have Thorns on your Necro. Those also extend to your minions. And so like I've seen like these minion builds built based off Thorns where they just like annihilate bosses. Like it's stupid. And I've seen some other stuff that are very, but we'll see. They're on the July 18th, so sometime next week. They're releasing the patch so everybody can theory craft for a couple days before the actual event goes live. It goes live on the 20th. So we'll see. Maybe they nerf like Bone Spear or is Bone Spear or Bone Splinters or something for Necro that's very strong right now, and they might nerf that, and then maybe it'll be like, okay, well, they made it unplayable again. Like I don't know. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm shooting. That's the other reason why I kind of fell off is because like I just want to play Necro. Like that's what I want to do, kind of thing. So I don't know.
Have we talked about what you did for my first playthrough? What you did to me? And I haven't beat it yet, by the way.
I told
you. What did you do?
I was gonna play as a druid, and then Cody was like, "No, you don't want to start as druid. That's the worst class to start as." I was like,
"It is. It is the worst class to start as."
But hang on. Let me get to why.
Now they have craziness now.
So I was like, oh, okay, why? And I had already like pivoted off a druid. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to druid. He goes, yeah, no, it's like the worst one because you start off every encounter and you have like no mana, so you can't use any of your abilities. You have to like build it up. I was like, oh, dude, you just described how Fury worked in fucking or not Fury.
No, you're right. It is how Fury works. The problem is in Diablo 4 specifically, you have so many enemies that are programmed to run away from you. So like the succubuses and all this other stuff, instead of like, and your character is not fast enough to catch up to them. So building out that Fury meter is a pain in the ass. Now, I knew that you weren't going to grind this game to level 100. Because if you grind it to level 100, there's a druid right now that, no joke, is outputting 8 billion with a fucking B damage. Like, I've seen the videos. It's absolutely fucking insane. But I knew you'd probably just play the campaign and be done with it, so I was like, you don't want to be a druid, because they hit for 17 every hit for like the first 20 levels, and it sucks. So
yeah, I just wound up going barbarian, which is what I always do. Which I guess, according to Cody, he's like, that's not that much better. I'll go, yeah, it's fine. I don't care. I'll just do what I always do. We'll just be the barb. It's fine. Where did he go? Did he just die?
I don't know, dude. He just
Usually he
got up
says
and
something like, "Be right back." He's just like, "I'm gone." See ya.
left.
Oh, he's a cute little baby.
So, I'm talking about 8 billion damage, and then I just hear a little knock, knock, knock. You say hi?
Hi.
No, you getting shy?
Not you, Tim.
She's shy now. Anyways, but yeah, no, yeah. So that was the only reason why. If you were gonna grind that out and play to level 100, I would have been like, yeah, you can be a druid. This is gonna suck for like the first 50
I might.
levels.
I got to
You know
level
what I mean?
25 and I haven't really touched it since, if I'm being honest.
I think Diablo's campaign is good enough on its own that especially if you got the game like on discount, like through Game Pass, like you probably will be able to soon. I think the story is strong enough that you could just play the story and be done with it and be happy with it. And then if there's a DLC that comes out, you can come out and play the DLC and do that kind of stuff. Because the story is like, it's not the best, but it's strong enough on its own. It's decent, you know what I mean? It's got good voice acting and stuff, and I have this insane child who hates sleep. So yeah, are you watching yourself on the Twitch stream? Before we get too far into the podcast, I did want to give you guys an opportunity. I didn't get a chance to read this article, but I feel like it's pretty topical with Tim going back and playing his 360 games about how, what was it, like 87% of games pre-2000 are no longer available for like regular purchase.
Yeah, I think it was as far as 2010, maybe. Like it was
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Yeah.
pretty shocking statistic. Just a stark look at the utter, just tragic state of video game preservation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's sad.
I'm just confused at like why. Like video games have been around long enough that I feel like why can't we have like a library, like a library of video games? You know what I mean?
It's funny that you say that, Cody, because we can, and that's a huge problem. Actually, is libraries can have collections of video games,
Right.
but these libraries would have to have the physical copies. They'd have to maintain them, and if researchers or anyone wanted to play these video games, they'd have to physically go to whichever library has whichever game on whatever console that they want to play.
Yeah.
Which is just not viable from like practical standpoint, right? Like someone's studying Atari games to write something about them or whatever.
Right.
They're not going to fly out to California to play a game and then fly out to some other library somewhere else to play a game for like an hour. The problem is they've been lobbying to give libraries access to digitize these games and have digital copies available to give out, or not give out, but to make available to researchers, right? Like libraries now, they have movies and music and shit, and you can just like go online and just stream them, and it's no problem. But there are a bunch of lobbyists for like Nintendo and whatever other companies that are basically saying, if you let people digitally play our video games through the library system, they will stop buying our video games.
Yeah, the video games that they're not selling to us. This is the whole crux of the thing for me. Like if they're in, as it is hilarious to me that Nintendo, in all of their infinite wisdom, they're the biggest offender. They're not the only offender. Let me be clear. It's the entire video games industry, but Nintendo is the biggest offender in this particular regard. You don't want me to pirate your games, right? I want to buy your games. I will give you money.
Right.
Let me play them digitally.
Right.
You don't make them available. You take down marketplaces. You don't port them to the new system. You don't retro. It's been very easily. Xbox has an emulator baked into its operating system that lets you play not every, but most Xbox 360 and Xbox One games on my Xbox Series S. Bandai Namco and From Software have not made Armored Core 5 Verdict Day backwards compatible. That's the whole reason why my Xbox 360 is up here. And by the way, a lot of 360 games hold up surprisingly well. I remember certain games I would be able to like put my controller down, go get like a drink, make a sandwich, come back and be loading in. Specifically like GTA.
Right.
I haven't had crazy load times playing Fallout, playing BioShock Infinite, playing Armored Core 6. Yeah, it's longer than on an SSD. It's not really that bad. Like, it's pretty playable. Anyway, that's a random aside. I can't play a lot of these games on my PC, on my Xbox Series X. I can't play my Game Boy games on my Switch Lite or my Switch. You won't sell them to me. So what option do I have other than going on eBay and paying $200 for a copy that may or may not be a reproduction, may or may not be scratched? I may or may not be able to get my money back if the disc is scratched, depending on how well worded the person who sold it put in the description and how well I paid attention to what they put in the description. Like, there's so many things where now retro gaming is becoming inaccessible, overly expensive, and by the way, not every game is available physically or digitally at nearly a reasonable price. Sucks. Today I went and bought a ton of Xbox 360 games for like $1 a piece at a pawn shop, including Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Assassin's Creed 3, like a lot of games I traded in mistakenly years ago that I now want to play, and I'm like, you know, I can still do that. All right, we'll do that. But like, the whole thing is if you just make all of these games available digitally, people will pay you for them. Steam has an excellent point that piracy is not a product problem, it's a service problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not making your service available to me, so now I have to go find another venue to get it. Great. Cool.
Yeah, people are going to do
whatever. I'm pirating things, but if I do...
Easy.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, right? You know, I mean, I went and paid $250 for a complete in-box copy of Soul Silver, that I won't like necessarily play. Like, I bought it as like a collector. Ow, hit me in the nose, you shithead. Anyways, yeah, no, like I don't want to ruin that. I popped it into my 3DS just to make sure it worked, and then that was kind of it. Like, that's all and now it's just going to sit on my shelf and be a collector's item. And I feel like that's probably most commonly what's happening to a lot of these games these days. So I think it being available for people to go play them somewhere would be nice. I mean, but Justin, you're probably right. It's probably not viable for people to fly all around the country to do these games or whatever, to go play these games.
I mean, digital libraries are a thing. If you make it a temporary license, kind of like you can rent an ebook from a library.
Yeah,
in
true.
most libraries, you don't have to physically be at that library. You don't have to physically live in that state. You get a limited time license that expires, and then it basically has a this message will self-destruct in 60 seconds thing, and like it deletes itself from existence, right? Like that's a perfectly viable option, but it's also, if you're really that concerned about, oh, people won't buy our games if you just make them available at the library, okay, so you make it available for me then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get these games somehow.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what's that anti-piracy stuff called? De novo or something like that?
Oh, that's a particular DRM. Yeah, de novo.
But yeah, it wasn't that supposed to be like the non-hackable nonsense when it first came out? Blah blah blah. And it was like it was broken in like 3 days or something like that.
There's so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember de novo being like the main. Because they were like,
nobody's ever going to be able to hack
this, blah, blah, blah.
De Novo's the one that gets the most hate, but mostly it's because it's performance issues that it introduces into games. And that's the one that, was it Tekken 7? The director was like, yeah, our game runs like shit on PC because that's on there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I may be paraphrasing, but not by much.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's an unfortunate thing. Because Tim, you were talking about that teddy bear serial killer game earlier.
Yeah, Naughty
you
Bear.
can't
Naughty Bear's amazing.
Yeah, you can't
Animal
find
Crossing,
anywhere.
but you just murder everything. It's
Yeah.
there's a Xbox 360 arcade game, but it's not the full game. I don't think. I'm gonna have to double check that. Like it's a spin-off, and it's like a
I would say it's closer. I don't know if it's Animal Crossing. You kill everything. I feel like it's more Hitman, but everything's a teddy bear.
sure. Either way, it's
Like-
cute, fluffy things that you're stabbing with a knife, and it's
Yeah.
amazing. And I
Or
really
setting
miss that
traps out
game.
for. You're setting out like bear
I don't know if
traps.
I'm saying more about the game designer or myself when I say that, but like I really miss that game.
Yeah.
I mistakenly I made the mistake of trading it in forever ago at a GameStop for like I think I got like $3 for it, and I used that towards Madden. That was stupid,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So, other than that, Justin, did you want to go into your live service topic thought or not?
I had a half-baked thought when I was excited about Lucio Ball before it came out, and I was really bummed.
Let's talk about it, and let's full bake this bitch.
So
It's a potato in the
time-limited things that are limited by time, seasonal things, are fun inherently because they kind of have more value because they're not always there. So when they are there, we kind of get excited more, appreciate it more. So for me, that's Lucio Ball. Lucio Ball season, I get very excited about because it's only going to be here for a little bit. And I've got 2 buddies and we get super into it and play it all the time, have a great time. It's great. So I was like, we have all these live service games where like their whole thing is like, we're going to be around forever. We need to shovel content towards our players. What if we went the other way? What if we had limited service games? Games designed to be less available, and we'll appreciate them more that way.
So
You know what I think is funny? It's the complete opposite of what we were just talking about, too.
yeah.
It's the total opposite.
You know what that reminds me of? Tim, you'll probably know the name of this because I don't remember what the name was of the project, but that project that Markiplier did, where he like had that YouTube channel for like a year, and then he like deleted it.
Deleted it.
Yeah,
Unisonic. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I have Unisoni's hat somewhere and hoodie.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch Markiplier prior to that. I actually started watching him like right at the end of that, so I didn't catch any of that. But I thought that was super interesting that he did it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just funny to bring that word the juxtaposition or whatever after we're just talking about having games forever, so I can play them forever. What would be a game that you would temporarily play? Like a Lucio Ball? Is that like the main thing you're thinking of, or?
I do want to say I don't think this is like anti-game preservation.
No, it's not. It's not.
Because live service games, we already do not have access to whatever happened last season.
Right.
But yeah, I was thinking about Lucio Ball, and then
fully anymore.
Yeah, Jesus. I saw on this TV at work when I was on break, it was this show called like The Foods That Made America, and they were talking about candy and how there were companies who literally only made candy to sell for Halloween because their product became synonymous with the holiday, and they made so much money during the holiday season that that's all they needed to do to operate all year.
So it's like the 4th of July and fireworks, right? You just sell fireworks for 2 weeks every year, and then you're good, right? Like
That's right.
Operating costs are covered for the year of 2023. You know, yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, there are some games that kind of try to do stuff like this. I can't remember the name of it, but it was this online multiplayer game where you'd spend $5 to buy into it.
Okay.
And I can't remember the exact premise. Maybe it was like a battle royale kind of thing. It was you and a bunch of other players, and you would just compete with them, and then whoever was left standing at the end would proceed to the next round of a bunch of players. But when you lost access to the game. You couldn't play it anymore.
What? I didn't know. I never heard of that.
Yeah,
That's
it was
crazy.
a PC game. I think it was on Steam.
Might have been.
I think it's deleted out of existence now.
Mm-hmm.
They probably
But
made
yeah, I
a
always
ton
thought
of
that
money
was,
doing that. $5 a
Interesting
pop
idea.
to play.
It's
They
like
didn't make
gambling,
that much
but
money
you
because
play.
it wasn't a big game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I would argue that it doesn't need to be a big game. If you have a 1,000 people that are willing to pay $5 every time they want to log in and play the game.
No. So like, your account banned. You need to create a whole ass new account if you want to do that.
Yeah,
I don't think there was anybody doing that.
The whole idea is there's like a phrase in Japanese for this. I can't remember, but I learned it from playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
And it just is a feeling of like the impermanence of things or like the way the seasons change.
Right.
And I just think that concept is really fascinating, and I would love to see it explored more in video games.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Yeah, instead of having...
And it kind of is with seasons and shit, you know?
Right.
FOMO.
Right. What was I gonna say? I mean, it's also better than having like 18 live service games all vie for my time, right? With their daily quests and et cetera, and it's too much. It's too much. Can we just get more games like BattleBit that released fully feature complete? That's all I want. It's all like it's feature
Wasn't
complete.
it in early access for a while?
Kind of, yeah. So they would have like weekend test weekends or whatever. So you could just download it and they'd have a playtest weekend. You could play it for like 6 hours or something, and then they'd take the service back down, and then they'd work on it. But it was only made by 3 people, kind of thing. So and they've consistently, so it's been out for about a month now, and they've consistently hit around like 70,000 concurrent players, which is just absolutely fucking insane for a game that looks like it's Roblox with guns, right?
Goes to show
than Halo.
Yeah.
Put out a solid game for $15. People buy it and play it.
People will come. It reminds me, honestly, you know what game it reminds me of now that I think about it? Is Valheim. And Valheim wasn't even feature complete, but it had like the core mechanics were all there. You know what I mean?
Solid.
And so it was solid, and it wasn't overly expensive, and it didn't matter that the graphics, even though Valheim's beautiful, but even though the graphics aren't like state of the art or anything like that, people were like, "Yeah, I'll fucking play this. I'll play this forever." It has literal potato settings. Awesome. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, happy about it. So yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, but it is interesting.
I love seeing that, these games that just like kind of come out of nowhere. Like I didn't know anything about BattleBit until I saw these articles like BattleBit is blowing up. What the fuck is that?
Dude, I'd been trying to get into a BattleBit playtest, but I kept missing them. Like I had it installed and it was just like, okay, when's the next playtest? Okay. And then I'd forget. Right? And then and then it would pass, and I'd be like, fuck, I missed another one. So I was very excited when it finally fully released so I could fucking play the game, kind of thing. So yeah. It's good times. But yeah, BattleBit's good time. I actually jumped back into Insurgency last night, which also came to PC Game Pass today.
Oh, nice.
Isn't it coming to console now, too?
It's been on console for a while.
What is
it? Does it have crossplay?
I'm thinking of Mordhau. Mordhau's coming to console now.
Mordhau, yeah. It's so weird to see that announcement so long after the game released.
And after Chivalry has already come out, Chivalry 2 has now actually come out and been on console already.
Oh man.
Yeah. Craziness. Let's see. What games are leaving? That's my question. I haven't seen any games fall off Game Pass, I feel like, for a while. Oh, here we go.
There's a few.
XO1 and Adventure Calls Paw Patrol.
Oh no! What will they do without Paw Patrol? I guess everyone will just have to go back to Peppa Pig.
Oh my goodness!
Did you guys see that Monkey Island's coming to mobile? Return of Monkey Island's getting a mobile version.
No, I didn't see that. That makes sense to me though. It's basically
it's
a
not
point and click.
Demanding game.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's the most recent one, right?
Nah, wrong person, because I don't know any of them.
Return was that the one that?
I think Return to Monkey Island.
I think it is. One. Yeah, it's either the newest one or there was one that came out. I think the one I'm thinking of was the Xbox 360 remaster that came out forever ago.
Maybe, yeah. So All right, boys. Well, I don't got anything else to talk about tonight. Y'all got anything?
Hell no.
It's about that time. Ending on time. Look at that.
Beautiful.
I got one thing.
What you got?
I'm gonna upgrade my PC pretty quick here. It's a 5600X 3D.
Nice.
It's an AM4 processor that just released. It's American exclusive.
Really?
You can't buy it anywhere else in the world. You
That's
only
weird.
can buy it at Micro Center as well. It's a Micro Center exclusive. It's American exclusive.
I was about to say they should have just put Morca on the box.
They should have put an eagle on it.
Yeah.
They should have called it the 5600X 3D Patriot Edition.
Some red, white, and blue
It's,
thermal paste.
It's interesting. So I was gonna get the 5800X 3D, but then this was like almost a surprise drop. Basically, there were some rumors about it, and then it came out. It's exclusive to Micro Center. It's $229. It's a 5800X 3D that didn't there. It was slightly defective, so they disabled 2 cores, clocked it down slightly. Now it's a 5600X 3D. It's within 5 to 10% of a 5800X 3D in all scenarios, except for production. And so my 5600X that's in the rig is going to go in the home theater rig. The 2600 is getting retired. This is going to go in there, and I'll be set. I'll have 2 Starfield capable PCs.
I was about to say, did you buy this specifically so you could play Starfield anywhere in your house?
No, I've been talking about this literally since I started the new job. I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to at some point get the 5800X 3D and plonk it in, and then I'll just call it good for a while because AM5 is unstable with DDR5 and all that. Both platforms kind of are with DDR5. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just kind of max out what I have for now and be good for a while. And yeah, this is a way to do that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, congratulations, sir.
I told Sarah, I'm like, I'm not upgrading the PC anymore. Like after I bought the 6700 XT for that, now I'm like, okay, now I'm really not upgrading the PC.
Oh man.
Yeah. You're like, I don't have anything to upgrade that's within our budget because everything else is like, what would you need, like a 4090 to really upgrade anything at this point? Like $1,600.
I mean, basically, yeah.
like
there's no reason to go from what I have to anything else.
What do you got? The 6700 XT?
That's in the home theater rig. 6900 XT in the main rig.
Okay.
So, basically, slightly worse than a 3080, but not really, and it beats it at 3080 in a good chunk of scenarios. It's slightly worse than a 3080 Ti.
Yeah.
Slightly better than a 3060, slightly worse than a 3070.
Yeah.
Either way, it beats a 4060.
Right? Or what was it?
The 40 V-RAM.
Was it the 4060, or did they come out with a 4060 Ti that got dunked on online as tech tips?
They've all been getting dunked on. There's a 4060 16 gigabit that version that's coming out on Tuesday because they have so many SKUs of this thing. They have another one coming out. There's a 4060, there's a 4060 Ti, now there's a 4060 Ti 16 gigabit. I think on launch day we sold, and I work in a PC store that is one of the highest volume in our. It's not hard to figure out where I work, but anyway. Especially when I talked about the 5600X 3D earlier. Anyway, we sold 4 on launch day of the 4070 Ti. We sold less than that of the 70. We sold less than that of the 60, and we sold even less than that of the 60 Ti. It's just nobody's gonna come buy this thing.
Yeah, it made me really happy that I bought my 3090 when I did. Because even though it was stupid expensive, it's oh yeah, this thing is legitimately gonna just keep me sustained for 2 generations for sure. Just the way things have been going, kind of thing. So yeah. Oof. Speaking of, did you ever get a monitor, Justin? Weren't you looking at a monitor?
Nope.
No, you're fuck it.
Someday.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other closing thoughts other than Tim's exciting PC upgrade?
I tried playing some Halo earlier.
Oh, did you? Oh.
They have that squad thing.
Yeah.
It's big team battle, old school big team battle, 8v8 or something.
Yeah.
How was it?
Frustrating.
Why?
Felt unbalanced.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe it was just my team sucking, but The enemy had a tank. Our tank was dead. We couldn't get any power weapons.
Yeah.
And so the tank just kept killing us.
That's
My team kept not shooting the tank. So it sucked.
That's some old school Halo for you, buddy. That's how I remember this shit going.
It was on
Halo experience right there.
It was on Valhalla, which was a nice treat.
There you go.
They have a lot of vintage maps in there, and after I played that, I played Tactical Slayer on that hallway map.
Yeah.
That map fucking sucks. 343 needs to learn to make better maps, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they need to learn how to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
I will say, now that you mentioned Halo, I heard that the MCC came out with the arachnophobia or arachnoskull or some shit. Basically, you can mount hunters.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. I think you just need to play MCC from now on. I think fuck Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
What is happening? Why is 343 sitting here adding new features to MCC?
Because they still have a player base there.
They're live, but hang on, they're live service game in Infinite. MCC's not supposed to be live service. MCC was like, "Hey, here's the old games remastered. Enjoy." And now they're like, "Hey, here's this new live service game that we're going to continue to add content to. Where's the new content? Where is it? You give me a couple of different game modes. Where's my content? Why can't I ride a hunter in Infinite? Why can't I do things at MCC that I can't do in Infinite?"
Because MCC's been in development for like 12 years compared to
343 is just dead.
They've also been working with a outside modding team to restore lost content, like cutting room floor content. I
saw that, dude.
Like it's not explicitly like 343's working on these things. It's like they're just helping other people help restore stuff too. So
it still bugs me that they're. I love that they're putting such an emphasis on MCC. Don't get me wrong, I love MCC, and I think it's really cool. It's really frustrating that Infinite is in such a shitty state that's where. Like, I feel like this is like the third or fourth time where we've been like, hey, MCC's getting this really cool thing. And I'm sitting here like, okay, where's my co-op?
You have co-op.
Where's my local co-op?
Well, you're never getting local co-op.
But it was in the game.
They literally came out and said that they're not going to support it. Like, I
understand. Yeah, no, they're cutting features from Infinite that were announced as going to be a thing, while they're adding features that didn't exist into MCC, because that makes any fucking sense for your live service game versus your remasters.
You have a higher player base than MCC. I don't know. I don't see the issue with it. This goes back to. Well, we were just talking about the library thing, right? Wouldn't you want them to continue to support that? Like, whether or not they get one new feature maybe a year, and you're losing your mind about it. Like, I just don't get it. Like, it's literally you can ride on the back of a hunter. Like, who cares? Like, it's super small.
Not bother me at all if Infinite was getting anything of substance.
It's getting what live service games gets.
It got infection.
It's got forge. Like, we can't say that what Infinite was when it came out and where it is now, that it's not technically in a better state. It has more things that you can do now than when it first came out. Like, you didn't have forge. There was no co-op.
Should have been in the game at launch.
They should have been, but we can continue to talk about shoulda, woulda, coulda. And this is the reality. This is where we're at. You know what I mean? Like, Infinite.
I really wish they would have just labeled Infinite, and this is a bigger problem with the gaming industry. I really wish we would stop pretending that these games are feature complete at launch. Like, we always talk about it. Why are we getting games that are feature incomplete? They're buggy, they're broken. You're not releasing all the content. You're giving us updates later on that add in content that should have been there at launch. Okay, so just call it early access, because that's what it fucking is.
No, I agree.
It's not different. It's just AAA early access. I would still buy AAA early access games, and I'd be a lot less salty about it, if I'm being honest. If you just told me, hey, it's not done, we're letting you play it early, it's early access, you're basically playing a super beta. Like, it's 0.85 instead of 1.0. It's not quite where we want it to be, but here it is in the state it's in. I will take that. I'm sure there's a reason they don't do that. I'm sure there's like some stipulation that they have to do a 1.0 release because of publishing agreements and all this shit. But like,
I would tell you Look at it like Redfall. Phil Spencer came out and basically said it when Redfall came out. More time isn't necessarily gonna fix it. Like, it is what it is, and it's fucked up. Like, there's no denying that. But like,
I think more time would have fixed a lot of the problems I have
it took
with
them
Infinite.
over a year to add co-op. I don't think you were getting Halo Infinite was originally supposed to ship with the Xbox, right? And it didn't come out until like a year and a half, 2 years later ish.
Your problem.
It had already been delayed enough. It needed to release.
I really want to love Halo. I do. And every time I play Halo, I love it. But then every time I hear something about it or I read about it, it just...
Yeah, it's frustrating because you want better. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that sentiment, but I'm not going to get worked up that they gave MCC a feature over Infinite. Like, I'm happy that the people that play MCC are still getting...
To be clear, I'm slightly hamming it up. Slightly.
Okay.
I play MCC. I like MCC. I think MCC... Oh, yeah, no, I still hop on there and play Reach. I was playing MCC on my PC earlier, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, I should." Then I went and played ODST on my 360. But like, I still play the old games. I love the old games. I do like that they're still supporting it. I think that's great. But I think if it's at all at the expense of Infinite, your live service title,
right,
that's a problem that I think they need to figure something out for.
I think there are two things I would compare this situation to. The first one is, you guys know in the Lord of the Rings how there's Denethor and he has two sons. One of them's Boromir, who he fucking loves, and the other one is Faramir, who he doesn't like at all and wants to die. I kind of imagine that's how 343 feels about these two titles.
What is hilarious to me about that sentiment, if you're saying that MCC is Boromir, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's not even their baby. That's like if Boromir was adopted by Denethor, right? Like, that's Bungie's baby.
And Halo 4.
Yeah.
Oh, and Halo 4, who no one cares about. That's the other thing. Like, the only game that people care less than Halo 4 about, other than Infinite as well, by the way, is Halo 5.
Yeah. You know, we say that.
I care more about Halo Wars.
Correct. Yeah. Halo Wars 2 is amazing.
We say that about Halo and like the last 3 entries or whatever. But I feel like that's because we're old and we grew up with the original 3. Because I've seen a lot of like good sentiment, specifically for Halo 5, from people that are like maybe like 5 or 6 years younger than us. That because that gameplay is so much closer to like Call of Duty, like those advanced warfare Call of Duties or whatever, and then fucking Apex and Titanfall, and people love that. I don't. I think it's crazy. You look like you're on crack playing those kind of games.
I actually don't mind the gameplay. The gameplay is not my issue I have with 5. It's not my issue I have with 4. I enjoy playing SWAT in 4. Almost as much as I do Reach. Like, it's not that far off. I think 343, as much as I give them a lot of flack for a lot of things, the gunplay is not one of them. I mean, Infinite's gunplay is awesome. 5's gunplay was fine, and the movement was okay. 4, same thing. I liked the movement fairly well. I didn't like the whole class-based system. Yeah. But they really kind of carried that over from Reach. Bungie kind of started that with Reach with the whole lockdown and all that. Like, the ability stuff, okay, that's fine. My problem with 4 and 5 are story-based.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Those campaigns make no sense. Yeah. Unless you
just read the books.
No one
that defense of those games makes me so mad every time.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, those games are pretty bad.
There was one other thing that I felt like this situation is actually super similar to.
Yeah.
RuneScape. Have you heard of RuneScape?
Old school RuneScape? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. They have RuneScape and old school RuneScape. So they're doing like kind of the same thing, but doing it well.
Right. Yeah. I don't know that. I don't know enough about RuneScape to really be able to comment on it, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was like that personally. Just, I don't know.
It's two Boromirs over there.
Or it could be like WoW and WoW like retail and WoW Classic. Could be similar. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know enough about both of those either, but yeah, it's just kind of interesting.
I do think it's funny every time we bring up Halo. As much as like, it just becomes a thing every time.
Yeah, because we're passionate Halo fans.
Yeah.
Even reluctantly, yes, we are.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I gotta let you guys go. I gotta get off here because I'm sure you can hear my daughter sitting here playing with her T-Rex and her Bluey, talking.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's 11 o'clock at night.
I have to be at work at 7.
Oh man.
Justin's like, it's my day off tomorrow. Fuck y'all.
Must be nice.
It is what it is. Anyways, that's it for Olope this week. We apparently love Halo.
We love everything.
We try. We love you. We'll be back next week, Wednesdays, 10 p.m. Central, and we'll talk about more video games or replace them. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We don't ever know until we get on here. Anyways, we love you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.